Welcome back. We continue our post-election coverage. Support for the Democratic Alliance has fallen to 20.8% of the vote from just over 22% in the last general election. So what's the next steps for the party? We're joined live now by Makashule Gana, a DA member of the Gauteng legislature. Thank you for joining us this afternoon.
Thanks very much, and thanks for having us.
So some tough questions to be answered post-2019 elections. No one can predict 100% accurately what is going to happen in the election, and we've seen over 500,000 fewer votes for the DA. Presuming you're going to have party discussions about what that can be attributed to, but surely you've got to have some opinions now where those votes went.
Thanks very much, and thanks for the question. I mean, I need to start by thanking over the 3.6 million people who have put their trust in the DA to say thank you. You know, you have strengthened democracy, you have made the DA an official opposition in Parliament. We have retained our status in a number of provinces, and we have retained the Western Cape. So thank you to South Africans who have put their trust in the DA. Obviously, one can't sit here and say that I'm happy with the outcome. I mean, we went into this election hoping to bring the ANC below 50% in Gauteng and the Northern Cape, and we did not succeed in that. So there's obviously a lot of reflection that we need to do. At the moment, we need to also listen to the voice of the South Africans that did not vote for us. Because in as much as one thanks the 3.6 million South Africans who voted for us, we need to be able to say what are some of the reasons why South Africans did not vote for us. And that's why I say it's important that at this present moment, one does not become overly arrogant. You know, one needs to humble himself. You need to say there's something that obviously needs attention insofar as our message of building a one South Africa for all, making it appeal to a broader society than the 3.6 million that have supported us in this election.
That's some people saying that the leadership of the party needs to be called into question. Some speculation in the newspapers today that party leader Mmusi Maimane is either on his way out or should be. What is your response to that?
I will not get onto that kind of knee-jerk reaction to say that Mmusi must go. I think it's too soon to make that kind of a judgment without a proper analysis in terms of how did the campaign roll out. I mean, for instance, some of us were working, you know. So insofar as effort is concerned, one cannot falter the DA leadership and the DA members in putting the effort of taking a message of building a one South Africa for all to all corners of South Africa. So if someone was to come to me now and say, do you think Mmusi should go? And I would say, no, I don't think he should go.
But certainly, by the numbers, there are over 500,000 people who didn't think he was worth supporting. Or do you think that that reflection should be taken broadly to the party and that the leadership bears no direct responsibility?
All of us will bear responsibility. I'm a leader in the DA, so I bear responsibility. We need to account, all of us. But I will not start the analysis of the elections by saying that Mmusi must go. I think that will be a wrong way of analyzing. You need to look at the election in its totality to say, is this move, has it got to do with delivery? Has it got to do with the identity that the DA is assuming of building a one South Africa for all? And then you then say, all right, how do we move forward? And then the best team to take us forward is the team that will Congress will get to elect. But at the moment, I will not join those ones who are reacting and thinking that the only solution to where we are now is for Mmusi to go. I will never say such a thing.
What would you say to those within the DA who are saying that some of the top leadership, not necessarily just Mmusi Maimane, but some top leadership needs to be removed in order for the party to move ahead smoothly?
You see, you don't move from a point of just starting by saying people must be removed. The first thing is that as leadership, we must account.
But the accounting process is what's been questioned. Is it disciplinary processes so long?
I'm not talking about disciplinary. Accounting has got nothing to do with disciplinary. Accounting is to say, this is how I did my part. This is the result might not have been what I wanted, but this is how I did my part. So, for instance, myself, I was part of Mmusi's team. The party might call on me to account in terms of the role that I played in the election. So accounting can never stop and end with someone leaving their office. We need to fully understand the extent to what have led to us dropping the number of support, especially when one considers that in 2014 we got over 4 million votes. So these are the questions that we first need to ask ourselves as leaders in the DA, but also allow members to question the decisions that we have taken. That's a fair process that all of us must.
Is it fair to assume that the public would want that process to happen at a certain pace and at a certain level of transparency? Because perhaps the argument is there that those who have not voted for the DA feel that there has not been the kind of level of accountability that they would have wanted.
You see, we have a federal executive that sits tomorrow to unpack, to start the unpacking process. Because you cannot say that all will be done in a day. So that process is starting. After every federal executive committee meeting of the DA, we always brief the public in terms of the outcomes, the discussions that have taken place. And that is not going to stop because we had a disappointing election. So South Africans can be rest assured that the deep reflections are happening internally, and the structures that are mandated to hold us as a leadership accountable, those structures will sit and they'll be able to ask questions. I think what we must not do is to think that when people ask questions, then necessarily it means that they are on the anti-someone or pro-someone. Questions need to be asked. All of us must account, because this is not what we planned. We had our 3 key objectives and we did not achieve them. So people, both inside the DA and in terms of the members and the leaders inside the DA, but more importantly, the voters that had believed that we could be a government in Gauteng, we could be a government in the Northern Cape, they are seeking answers. And this is the process that we need to do to ensure that when we come out of this process, we have taken all South Africans along and we are able to stay true to building a One South Africa for all that's informed by the needs of the people of South Africa.
Can we expect to see a federal Congress anytime soon?
It depends your definition of soon. If your question is, can we see a federal Congress in the next 3 months? No. There won't be a federal Congress. There will be a federal executive, like I said, tomorrow. There will be a federal council that will sit. And if for some reason members, sufficient numbers of federal council members feel that we must go to a Congress, then that kind of a resolution needs to be put in. But like I said, from where I am, there needs to be a proper analysis. We need a deep reflection in terms of how do we make, because our offer to South Africa is it's a compelling one. When we talk of building a One South Africa for all, where people will be able to benefit socially and economically, it's something that when we interact with South Africans, they agree to. So maybe what we then need to do is how do we then take this offer to the broader South African populace? But for me, is that we still have a mandate. Insofar as the Western Cape is concerned, to keep delivering services there. We still have a mandate in the municipalities that the DA governs to keep delivering services, because if we don't do that, then something might actually go south faster than we think.
And certainly still the official opposition in Parliament, and we will continue to watch your activities there. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon. That was Makashulagana from the DA speaking to us about the disappointing showing of the DA during this year's election.